Hello and welcome. So a smokestack is 130 feet high. A guy wire must be fastened to the stack 50 feet from the top. The guy wire makes an angle of 65 degrees with the ground. Find the length of the guy wire round into the nearest foot. So first off, a smokestack is kind of like a giant pole. You can think of it that way. We know that our smokestack here is 130 feet high. A guy wire is a very fancy version of a wire, must be fastened to the stack 50 feet from the top. So 50 feet from the top, we have a connection point from our wire, and this wire is also connecting to the ground, right? The wire makes an angle with the ground, so our wire is connecting to the smokestack 50 feet from the top and connecting to the ground some distance away. Now, when we're looking at this kind of changes the side of our triangle. If the whole smokestack is 130 and we're going 50 feet from the top where our connection point is, then our side here would then be 130 minus 50, or in other words, it would be 80 feet. Okay, so that's going to be really important when we're looking at this. So we have an angle of 65 degrees. I'll put that in there. And we know our 65 is going in that bottom right corner because it is the wire making an angle with the ground, and that's the only place where my wire and ground connect. Now my goal is to find the length of the wire, which would be right there. So then that's enough to create a trig ratio from this. We know that we have the hypotenuse, which is x, that's what we're trying to find, and our 80 is the opposite side, which means, SOHCAHTOA, we're using sine as our ratio. So sine of an angle equals the ratio. Our angle is 65 degrees. The opposite side is 80. Hypotenuse is x. And then we just solve for our variable, right? Undo division with multiplication times x both sides. We get x times sine of 65 degrees equals 80, right? And then we undo that multiplication of sine by dividing it to both sides. So then we get x equals 80 divided by sine of 65 degrees. Now my goal is to round to the nearest foot, meaning I need to know what this actually equals. So I'm going to plug it into my calculator really quick. So in my calculator, I'm doing 80 divided by sine of 65 degrees. Now there's no degree button, but I know it's in degrees because my calculator, you might see this little slider above that number 7 there. It's RAD versus DEG. The RAD is for radians, DEG is for degrees. So once we're in degree mode, your calculator is assuming that's 65 degrees. And then to the nearest foot would be your nearest whole number. The 2 would round down that 0.2, which means that 88 feet would be the answer to this particular problem. That would be the length of the guy wire. And that's all there is to it. Thanks for watching.